Well, I guess it's time for another installment of The Grindhouse. And honestly, last weekend, something happened at a convention in New Jersey, a convention that I used to be a huge part of, and that was Chiller Theater. And it seems that, for whatever reason, somebody grabbed somebody else's smartphone from a kid and took off with it. When he was confronted, he stabbed the security guard. I guess the guy's an off-duty cop or something, in the stomach. Was apprehended. A section of the show was shut down, taped off with crime scene tape, and that was it. Now, why the fuck anyone would bring a fucking knife to a horror convention is a mystery to me. Obviously, this guy has some kind of fucking issue. And again, we got some, fucked up kid from Connecticut or whatever he was doing this shit. And it's like, again, why would you bring a knife to a horror convention unless you were looking for trouble? And it isn't that the show doesn't have good security, because it does. Before I had left the show, I was running security years ago. And my attitude toward running a security team was the same as Patrick Swayze's in Roadhouse. You don't touch anybody. You be nice until it's time not to be nice. Fortunately, during my tenure there, I only had one incident where some drunken idiot groped a girl and her boyfriend tagged him, gave him a black eye. And he was standing there ranting and raving about what he was going to do, and we very calmly surrounded him in a circle. And I went in and I talked to the guy who wasn't going to hear it, and he wanted the police called. Well, the hotel had already called the police, but the hotel had dropped something into the equation that wasn't true, that there was a gun involved. One of the cops walked up to me and said, "Where did this guy go and what kind of gun does he have?" And I said, "He doesn't have a gun. He's just drunk, and now he's heading to his car. And I would let him start his car, because then you basically bagged him for a DWI." So, that's what happened. Other than that, there was no incidents. But now we have this nasty specter of people bringing weapons to horror conventions. It's not a safe world anymore. And unfortunately, a place where everybody goes to have a little fun and meet celebrities is compromised now. I don't know what the liability is involved in this whole thing or whatever, but it's not good. And I hope the show doesn't suffer because of some fucking asshole who wanted to basically hurt somebody. The whole thing with the smartphones and the fucking cell phones is out of control. I remember when I was a kid, there was a place across the highway from my old man's store that had just opened up called Turtleback Zoo. And they had a cage of these spider monkeys. And, these are the monkeys they use in cannibal films and shit like that. They, slice off their heads and eat their fucking brains or whatever. But anyway, they had a cage full of spider monkeys. And us kids had these candies they were about this big, wrapped in gold foil. And we gave them to the monkeys. Now the monkeys were sitting there looking at it. And I'm like, you know something? This reminds me of a fucking room full of people with their smartphones doing the same shit, acting like fucking monkeys because they're entranced by this shiny object. And I get this crap about, well, you don't have a smartphone, why don't you have a smartphone, this and that and the other thing. This is about as smart as my phone gets. And as you can see with this little fucking screen here, I can't really, no, actually this is the little screen. I can't read text messages on this shit at all, period. That way I don't text. So, again, the whole smartphone, cell phone thing reminds me of a cage full of fucking monkeys looking at shiny objects, because that's what people are acting like, and it's fucking weird. And I know I'm out of touch, I'm old, whatever the fuck it is. And I also just found out yesterday that I have heart disease, so I got to deal with that. Those of you who were inquiring about my health, that's what's been the problem. I haven't said nothing because I actually had to see a fucking doctor who knew what they were talking about, and talked to a cardiologist yesterday, and I don't know how serious the situation is until I take a stress test, and based on the stress test will be the treatment. So Right now, I'm not worried. I got enough shit to worry about. But, you know, it is what it is. You get old, shit breaks down, and you know, whatever the fuck. I don't even want to, think of that. But, yeah, not what I wanted to hear, but like I said, that's it. As far as the conventions go, I hope it doesn't affect, Chiller too much because people really enjoy Chiller. But to be honest with you, I've honestly lost interest in doing conventions. I've said this before, and it's just not my thing anymore. And, I look down, what happened in South Jersey with Gary Busey basically sexually assaulting female fans, and the female fans doing something smart, running to the cops instead of running to the promoter. And the next day, somebody posts a picture of Busey out of jail sitting in the park with his pants down. So, I don't know if anything ever came of that, but it just gets to be a fucking joke that a lot of these promoters are nothing more than marks for celebrities and want to book celebrities on the basis of they want to meet them themselves, which is fucked up. But like I said, not in that universe anymore, doing other things. And thing is, I don't know if I told, this is November 3rd. My buddy Norman Brill, Norm of New York City Liquidators, will be gone. Jeez, it's almost 20 fucking years. And it would, behoove me to tell a Norm story. I don't know if I told this story before. I had a connection to get video games back in the Sega Genesis, I guess Super Nintendo days. And, Norm wanted them, but didn't want to pay what I needed for them. So it never worked out that way, except when I got Super Nintendos and I really didn't have a market for them, I made a deal there. Well, one day he called me up and said, I got video games and consoles. And I said, oh, cool, what brand? He goes, it's a major name. Which really ain't telling me shit. So I said, really? He goes, yeah, you got to come in, I'll give you first crack. So I go in, and yeah, it was a major name, maybe fucking a decade ago, ColecoVision. He had the game consoles and the cartridges. And I looked at this stuff and I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. He said, why? It's great stuff. And I said, dude, you're never going to sell it. Well, help me out. Take some of it. So I'm like, the fuck, I'm there. I took a case of game consoles, a couple cases of the cartridges, and pretty much went out and sold them for what I paid for them or lost money. It was a lost cause. Well, with all the Norm's bad deals, they go into the basement. Like I talked about the records before and stuff like that. Bad deals go into the basement, out of sight, out of mind. Well, he eventually sold them. He found somebody down the line to take them all, and they went out. But yeah, 20 years, man. It's 20 years him and Rambo gone. I guess 19 or 20. I don't remember which. It was in 2003. Yeah, we're going on 20. Next year will be 20 years. And I miss the fucker every day. I miss a lot of these guys every day, like I keep saying. But it was like a brother to me, and I miss our screaming and yelling at each other sometimes, like brothers do. Unlike my actual brother, who's a scumbag. But besides that. But anyway, yeah. If you're going to conventions, please be aware. Please be safe. I don't know what people are thinking these days. We go out to have a little bit of fun and shake off the real world, but unfortunately the real world seems to follow us into certain situations. So again, please be safe, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And I got to figure out what I'm going to talk about movie-wise pretty soon, because Halloween's over and I'm all horrored the fuck out right about now. So got to see what else we can talk about. So until next episode, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the flip side.